Welcome to the AAC Talk session called Empowering Features and New Resources. And we are proud to have our AAC Talk speaker, Kirk Benke from Pranky Romic Company, join us today. Kirk, I'll turn it over to you to tell us a bit about yourself and get us started.
Great. Well, thank you very much, Tammy. My name is Kirk Benke, and I work for Pranky Romic Company. And sorry, I am just trying to do some sharing things, and I'm just having just a second. Just need another second, and come on, let's go. There we go. There's my splash page. So I work for Pranky Romic Company, but I've also worked for Temple University. I've worked for Cal State University Northridge. I designed the Assistive Technology Application Certificate Program back in the mid-90s to early 2000s. I also have worked for the National Center for Accessible Educational Materials at CAST. I've done some contract work with UCD of Dublin in Ireland to take the certificate program to Ireland. I've also worked in other countries as Qatar and Doha and things like that. I've also worked at Region 4 Education Service Center in Houston, Texas. And there I was the lead for the Texas Assistive Technology Network. And so now I've just, about 2 years ago, I moved back to the East Coast. And so now I'm a regional rep for Pranky Romic Company. And I bring to the table a lot of assistive technology knowledge as well as AAC knowledge. Just my speaker disclosure is that I'm a full-time salaried employee of Pranky Romic Company. My non-financial is I'm an assistive technology professional of Resna. So that's me in a nutshell. If you want to know more, feel free to get a hold of me. Today, what we're going to do is we're going to describe Empower, which is our new operating system for our accent devices, which hold our Unity and LAMP Words for Life language programs. What we're going to do is name 3 vocabularies that are going to be available, in Empower. We're going to name the 4 access methods that are available in Empower. We're also going to have a quick look, which is our new eye gaze system that I'm going to try to show you from the device. And then what we're going to do is also review some online resources which support AAC implementation from our website, from Pranky Romic. Okay, so today's agenda, again, we're going to look at the big picture and the details. What is Empower? Who might use it? And what are some frequently asked questions? We're also going to go over the new Toolbox, the editor, vocabulary builder, and then we're also going to have a look demo, as well as some online resources as well. So let's look at the big picture and the details. So what is Empower? PRC is the new communication software for the accent line of products. So it's in addition to New Voice right now, because we don't have the available languages all available in Empower yet that we do in New Voice. So what you will do is if you get a new device or a trial device, etc., you'll be asked whether you want to start in Empower or start in New Voice. And if you want to switch back and forth, you're able to do. But what we're trying to do is promote our Empower, which is our communication software. Basically, what we try to do is listen to all of our customers and look at how we can be quicker and more simple and more easier to use than our currently New Voice software, which is very, I don't want to say menu driven, but it's more of a motor plan that you develop in order to do some programming and have access to all the features that we have in our communication devices. It is a clean, modern interface, which you'll see, and it's hopefully easy to learn and easy to teach. It was created via Agile software, so it's definitely more responsive, and we also have more regular fixes and features. And we'll talk about that too. So who might use it? We have new clients in North America, including Canada. We also have new clients who might want to use Unity, LAMP Words for Life, or LAMP Words for Life VI. So those are the only 3 language systems that we have available within Empower right now. We are going to be working on, the other languages as we see, but we're going to be basically rolling it out with just the LAMP Words for Life, the LAMP Words for Life for visually impaired, and all of our Unity, which is 4 through 84 location. Empower is used with touch, with or without a key guard. We also have head tracking available, which is an access method. We also have eye tracking, which I'm going to talk to you a little bit about, is about Look, our new eye tracking device. And then we also have 1 and 2 switch scanning that we can use with Empower. I'm not saying Core Scanner is not available in Empower right now, but you still are able to do 1 and 2 switch scanning in Unity and LAMP Words for Life if needed. So some of the frequently asked questions is, will the same voices be available? Yes. Whatever voice you purchase with your accent will be available in Empower. Also, will the same symbol sets be available? And that's also, of course, yes. Whatever symbol set you purchase with your accent will also be available in Empower. And then third, when can I start trialing a device with Empower? Loaner devices in Empower and with New Voice has already been out. So if you were doing a trial or you purchased a system, an accent, either 800, 1000, or 1400, you will have the option to start with Empower and or New Voice. And you can do whatever you like to do, whatever you feel more comfortable with. Now, what I've been finding as I go out and people are utilizing the choice between Empower and New Voice, they're choosing Empower. And the fun part is that they're really doing a lot more programming initially without my help. And I'm kind of liking that a lot because it's not always, that easy to go over New Voice within an hour, but they're definitely taking it on in Empower. So what about New Voice? Yes, we'll still continue to ship it on every new accent, and it will be supported for many years to come. Again, for now, it will continue to run Core Scanner, Unidad, LAMP Words for Life Spanish, English, Word Power, and Picture Word Power. So you do have, if you get a new device right now, you will have to start up back in New Voice in order to run Core Scanner, Unidad, LAMP Words for Life Spanish, English, Word Power, and Picture Word Power. So if I'm using Empower, but decide I want to use New Voice instead, can I do that? Yep, you definitely can. What you'll do is you'll exit out of New Voice and go into the Windows side of the device, and then you'll start Empower from a quick start on the desktop. So you can, but any vocabulary changes that you do have made in Empower will not be able to be imported into New Voice, unfortunately. So in other words, anything that's done in the new cannot go back to the old. So anything done in Empower, you cannot go back into New Voice. So you'll need to redo those different types of customizations, buttons, etc. in New Voice. And then right now, it is vice versa right now. In other words, we can't really change from one to the other. However, in the next version of Empower, you will be able to then transfer your MTI files from New Voice into Empower, but only that one way, from the old to the new, from New Voice to Empower. I hope that makes sense. So if your client already has an accent, can they get an Empower? Sure. We're excited for our existing customers, to get access to the Empower, but we're still working on the transition process from New Voice to Empower. This basically, we intend to roll out the software to all of our customers with accent 1400s, the 1000s, the 1020s and the 1030s, and the 800s, 20s, and 30s. Those are the newer models, if you will, of our accent devices. And so once we can provide a good transition experience, then we'll be ready to make an announcement that will be made at that time. And again, access to Empower software will be free of charge. It's a download. It's also a matter of looking at what types of software you have available on your device. But it will be available free of charge for a download, and it will be on our website as well. And it will have instructions just like we typically do for any type of download that you have. We have a whole instruction sheet, we have the download, and you can put it on a drive. Can I import a vocabulary file from New Voice to Empower? Like I said, not yet, but it's in the works. So we're going to be doing that from New Voice to Empower. And it's coming fairly shortly, I believe. So let's kind of take a look at the overview of the new toolbox. This is sort of what a Unity will look like in a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times 4 is 28 location with the labels on. But what I'm going to try to do now is go ahead and switch over to my device and share my device on here. Oh, great. Looks like it's coming up, so that's good. So this is the menu button that you'll see. So right now, again, in Unity, you'll have, this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9 times 4 is 36. Sorry, I have to do that all the time. I don't know why I can't recognize a 28 versus a 36 layout, but this is a 36 layout. So if I click on menu, you'll see that the top now, instead of having a side button like we have in New Voice, you'll have the tools or the orientation to the different types of tools available at the top. So we have from left to right, the editor, the vocabulary builder, we have a go to home that's grayed out, we have a desktop, and we have a toolbox. So I'm going to click on the toolbox right now and then show you that here is what the setup looks like now. If you remember New Voice, you'll remember that it was basically a whole bunch of different colored squares on a screen. Mostly on the left-hand side is your system settings, and then on the right-hand side were copy pages and everything. And unfortunately, even me being new to PRC, that didn't make a whole lot of sense to me, but I learned it, and I learned the motor plan of all things. So now what we have is basically 4 settings. So we have our user settings, we have our vocabulary settings, which looks at how everything we need to do around our vocabulary. We have our system settings, so anything to do with the device. And then also we have down here something called applications. And right now we're in a beta test for doing something called Engage, where we're looking at how we can get users to use either eye gaze and or head tracking systems or switches or whatever, and get them engaged in the products. But I can't tell you anything else about that right now, but know that there's that application setting, that application window will have different types of applications that you could use for your communication device on the Accent. So let's look at the user settings first. We have our access methods. So right now I have it on eye tracking, because I have eye tracking set on my device, but I also have, I can have head tracking on here, I have touch, I have scanning. So that's basically our access method. We have voice, and so here's your main voice page. And you have a main voice, right now I have Joey, but you can change your speech rate, your treble, your bass, and really do it very simply just by pressing up positive or negative into where you want your speech rate, where you want your treble, where you want your bass. We also can change your voice. So if we have a change in your voice that you wanted to try, you can try any of the voices that are installed or come with the device, especially the trial ones. But when you get your own device, you will have to designate which voice you do want for your main voice. You can also have, so we have male and female voices, and thus by toggling that, how you would choose that. We also have our main voice and our prompt voice, and the prompt voice is the exact same menu. It's just you would change your voice to your prompt voice menu as well. All right, so that's the voice. Then we have our message window multi-bar. So if you had a message window, you can now have your message window at the top, You can do different text colors, different highlight colors, as well as the different background colors. We also have different text styles. So instead of just the one, I think it was Arial font that we had before, we now have a variety of different types of fonts that you can use in the message window settings. And then within settings, we can also do an auto format. You can speak message window. You can turn that off if you wanted to. For some individuals, they wanted to have that capability of doing that. The other one was a key guard mode. So if you want to turn that setting on, if you were using a key guard, and the one thing that we heard a lot about feedback wise is looking at the clear message window. So when you turn that toggle on, the contents of the message window will be cleared after the message is spoken. Now, I just always caution people about that, because if you are, putting together a full sentence, your user's doing that and they click it up into the message window and they say something. Once it's spoken from the message window, then it's cleared. So if you miss that auditory response, then you're kind of out of luck, because it will clear after the message. But for some individuals, that's really good, because some people either forget to clear their message window or don't do that. And when they click on their message window, they get everything that they had before. So that's just a setting that we have in here. You can turn it off or on as needed. The users, and this is a real game changer right now, is that we have a bunch of user areas now. But remember, in New Voice, we had user areas, which were basically like vocabulary that you had available. But now we actually have it done per user. And if I were to click sign out, you'll see that you can have different folders for individual users that are here. I'm just using the one because Kirk is just all I have on here right now. But if I were to do others, it would be that those users would be available to me. So let's go back to our toolbox. And so that was our user. We also have a cursor, dwell, and selection feedback. So we can change the cursor to fit your needs and styles. And again, it's fairly simple to use. You can turn the cursor on, turn it off. Usually when I'm using eye gaze, I like to keep the cursor on. And you can select your cursor style. You can change the size of it from small, medium to large. You can also change the color of your cursor again. So I'm just going to change that. And then also we have good old restrictions. We always wanted to have restrictions to keep our kids and our other people out of it. We can have it through a password. You can have it through USB. And just like in New Voice, you can create that USB lock or unlock using it using your flash drive as a key to opening up the toolbox, or you can create or change a password. All right. So those are restrictions. So now let's go to vocabulary. If we select vocabulary, you'll see that I have already selected my 36 layout. So I have Unity and LAMP as options to select different vocabularies. Within Unity, we have a target practice, but we also have our 84 sequence one hit, 60 sequence one hit, 45, 36. You get the idea. All the way down to our 8 one hit, 4 one hit, 15 phrase, and then our 15 one hit. In LAMP, will come with LAMP Words for Life, the one hit, the full. We're working on our transition right now. So we have one hit full, and we have one hit full VI versions as well. If I go back to select the vocabulary, I can also look at my vocabularies of what I've already used within my user area. So I have my Kirk 1, which I have tried out on 4/23 at 10:50. Now I have my Unity 60 sequenced one, my Unity 45 sequenced one, and they're all dated as to when I've loaded them and the last time I accessed them. And then I also have Unity 36 sequenced one, which I'm using today. Vocabulary Builder, I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. We also have our vocabulary settings. So here we can actually choose our empty button appearance, whether it be white, transparent, or whether it be empty. So that's how you want to choose how the empty buttons appear on your screen. If you want the empty buttons to be white, just like all the other keys, then keep it white. If you want it transparent, they will actually turn gray. If you choose the empty part, then it actually will turn a dark blue or whatever background you have that you've designated on your styles and colors on your page. Um, I kind of like to keep it as transparent because I know I like to see the keys that are there, but I know if they're not available, then I know that they're grayed out and that I can put something underneath them. If you also want an empty button action, you can say no action or go to home. Usually the default is no action, so I would probably keep it with no action because if you click on anything incidentally that's an empty button, it'll go back to the home page. Here's the next one is show labels. This is where you're going to choose your labels and show your labels where you want them to appear. So we have our home, middle, and end. So I like labels on every time and everywhere. Um, so that's just my choice, but I know some people do like to have the home labels off. Um, that's totally up to you and totally up to your client. Um, you can use alternative symbols. So if you had any alternative symbols that you have stored into there, you can have them there or not. You can also choose the button padding, and the button padding is basically looking at how you can separate the individual buttons on the page. So if I increase that to, let's say, 16%, adds space in between my buttons. And that's available in New Voice as well. It's just really simple to do it here. Let me just show you real quickly what I mean. So if I click back, you'll see that I have empty space in between my buttons now, and that's that blue space. Okay, great. We're just buzzing along here. Um, and then we also have our editor, which I'll show you in a little bit. Page manager, keyboards, word prediction, our data logging. So if you're ever to use a data logging tool or a realized language subscription, you can turn that on and then you can either export data or also you can access the data remotely through our realized language program. And I'll talk a little bit more about that at the end. And then we have system settings. So here's where your volume settings. So you have your system mute. When on, all sounds should be muted. I probably need to turn that off. Yes, I need to turn that back on because of the webinar, sorry. We have our volume. We adjust the device volume here. We have our headphone volumes. We can play prompt voice through speakers. We have our device volume button. Again, everything that you've had in New Voice is just much clearer as to where to get to these. We also have our devices and connections, so you can connect to Wi-Fi or Bluetooth or access your switches. You're connecting your Freedom Switch, etc. We have our export and import. So this is your sort of transfer memory menu from New Voice, and this is where you can export your entire device or you can export selected files. I do like this in saving users because you can then go to save users like vocabularies. You can also save whole users and all the vocabularies that you're using, or you can also save specific pages that you've made. I haven't made any pages on this device. So that's kind of a nice idea that you have a lot more flexibility in saving and then importing different types of users, pages, as well as vocabularies. The updates, this is where you're going to check for software updates. And again, if you have a undead
Looks like we've lost your audio.
Sorry, I'm back. Can you hear me now? Sorry.
Yes, thank you, Kirk.
I'm so sorry. My internet connection apparently went down really quickly. Sorry about that. Oh, okay. So that's all. That's everything on the system settings. Again, power settings, support systems, and options. Again, just looking for ways to connect remotely from our system. So let's go to exit. And so now I'm going to show you really quickly about look. So if I go to my toolbox and I go to my access method and I click on eye tracking, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you that I'm looking at my device. You can't see me look at my device, but basically the green globes that are there are actually my eyes looking at the device. So it's telling me exactly where I should be looking. And as you know, in eye gaze, it's all about positioning. So if I close my right eye, you'll see it go away. If I close my left eye, you'll see it go away. If I look away, the green globes go away. If I look back, they come right back in. And then it also will tell me at the bottom, it's telling me the distance from the device. So usually I'm trying to be between 18 and 22 inches away. And it'll tell me now, perfect, you should calibrate now. So if I go to calibrate settings, here's my settings for eye tracking. So I have my setting from number of calibration points from 0 to 9. Usually 5 is the best calibration. And you have your left eye only, your right eye only, or both. You can also choose the background color of the calibration screen right on the eye tracking. You can also choose a stimulus. Usually the best calibration is with the target, the first selection. You can use the different types of stimuli if you like, the animated jumping banana or the flapping butterfly or the dog wiggling its tail. You can have that, but I also would suggest you make the stimulus size as small as you can to get the best calibration for your device. So I'm finished with my eye tracking type of calibration settings. And so let me look at okay, so this is my eye tracking menu as well. So when I do my selection type, right now I'm just dwelling. I'm dwelling on the selection, and my dwell time is 0.9 seconds. So if I look at the screen for 0.9 or the button for 0.9 seconds, it will then activate that button for me. I can also, in this menu, do my repeat delay, my repeat rate. I can also have a keyboard appear when you select the text field in the edit mode. When it's off, the keyboard will appear when you select the keyboard icon. Otherwise, you can just turn it off and it will automatically come up with the keyboard in the edit mode. And again, tracking, we have our filter methods, which is stream, snap, group, stream, snap, stream, and group. And then we also have our smoothing. So as you can tell, these menus are much easier to orientate through, and they're also much easier to find than the new voice at the moment. Okay, so what I'm going to do is calibrate now, and I'm going to show you how quickly this is. And right now I had calibration set for 5 points. So I'm going to calibrate now by looking at the dot in the middle, the dot in the upper left-hand corner, the dot in the right-hand corner, the dot in the lower right-hand corner, come on, dot in the lower right-hand corner. I just canceled it, sorry. I want to try to do it again, sorry. Give me one more second. There we go. So now my calibration is complete, and then it will show you a graph of what your calibration results are. And your left eye, I believe, is the blue, and your right eye is the green, and it shows you how close you are to the target. So that's a pretty good calibration. So that's how the calibration will work. So again, with accessing method of eye tracking, there's 2 things that you want to keep in mind. One is positioning of your head and eyes to the device, and that's probably about 80% of the work right there. And then 2 is just to have a good calibration so that your eyes are being caught in the eye tracking device. So now if I go to here and I now just look around, have the default setting down to an orange pointer, and I can go into my pets. Sorry, I just moved myself. If I go to come and then I go into my animals and then I go into my pets. Come on, Kirk. Of course, you do this when everything, is when everybody's looking. And then I can talk about any of my pet snakes or kittens or whatever. So I have that there and I can just clear my display. So my display is not speaking right now just because of the webinar. I have 2 devices on right now and I don't want to have feedback, and I'm sure you would appreciate that as well without the feedback. So that's kind of what the eye gaze is really all about. And again, you can use any type of system that you have right now is to within Empower, using Look, you can use any Unity program from 4 to 84 and any lamp, one hit, lamp works for life, one hit in full, and then lamp one hit in full, the VI version. So that's again what's available in Empower. You can still use lamp words, you can still use Look, the eye gaze system. You can still use, I keep doing that, sorry. You can still use Look on an Accent 1400, 1000 in New Voice. That's still being supported. So you can still use the hardware Look with New Voice. And if you're using like Core Scanner, or I don't know why you use Core Scanner with iGaze, but using a Word Power or Picture Word Power, or Unidad and or Lamp Words for Life Spanish English. You can still use the Look iGaze module with that in New Voice. I hope that made sense. All right, so I'm just going to go to now the editor. So if I go to the editor page, if I hit my toolbox and I go to editor, now I'm going to show you exactly how easy it is to edit. So we don't actually have to be on the page to edit anymore. We can actually be wherever we want, and we can orientate where we want to go. So let's say, for example, I want to go to My Foods and I want to add some, besides peanut butter, Reese's, and peanut butter something else, I might want to add maybe a fruit or vegetable here. So what I have to do is I click on edit, and then I click on the space that I want to add the word or phrase, and then I get my edit button screen up here, and then I can add my word or phrase here by saying, let's say I want apple. So I say the word, type in the word apple. So that's the message that I want. It automatically brings up the label for the icon, and then it brings up suggested symbols that I want. The 3 first are the, what an apple looks like, but then I also have apple pie and all those other things. If I didn't like exactly what was going on with the suggested symbols, I can always go to symbol and search a symbol. And let's say I wanted to see more symbols that were with apple. Click on finish, and more things around apple, or the meta codes, meta tags that are on these icons or pictures will show you more apple choices. So even have a logo of Apple computer on there, as you can see. But let's say I wanted a green apple because I really like green apples. So I'm going to choose that green apple. The other thing that you could also do too is, if you wanted to, you can also you can browse your symbols in different folders. You can import symbols here from a USB drive, or you can use your camera. And so again, you can capture your new image from your camera. My office is really, really dark right now. But if I put a light in the back, you can see my other computer in the back. But if I had a bottle of water, and I lifted it up, there you see the bottle of water. You can take a picture of it. get the idea. Hopefully that's, and you can do that in New Voice as well. I just wanted to show you that. So now I have, and I just clicked finish. And so now I have my apple on my foods page. So it's pretty simple to use and edit. It's all on one page. It's not like you have to move anything. Now we do also have some other features like swap feature. So if I clicked on the swap, if say I wanted to have my apple in between my peanuts there, I can just click on the buttons I want to swap and they automatically swap that. Or I can put them back to where I wanted them. One other thing that I'm not so crazy about is the resizing capability. So if I wanted an apple bigger, I just tap to create the first corner of my button and then tap on my other button and I can make that apple bigger and resize it that way. The reason why I'm not so crazy about that, because I've been trained that, you know, if you have so many locations, you should probably keep your buttons the same size as the number of locations on your screen. So that might be old school for me, but we've made that available to many of you so that you can do the same thing. And if you wanted to just resize it back, you just click on the box that you want it to be resized. Nice thing is too, is you can copy and paste. So if I clicked on copy and I wanted to copy that, I can also, you know, paste it somewhere else and click on my paste and paste it over here. Or go to a different page and paste it on there as well. So again, copy, cut, and paste, really simple to use in the editing page. And all you have to do is then, when you're done, just click on save and you have saved your page. And so then if I go to eat, go to my foods, and you'll see my page that's there. Okay, one other thing I wanted to show you before, what time is it? 27. Oh, good. So if I click on Vocabulary Builder, this is how Vocabulary Builder looks now. I have a current word list one up there that I used before. So if I click on Edit List, I can see all of the things that I had in here that I put in here. So I have dad in there, I have mom in there. Now it's interesting because we will put the words in Unity. We have the word dad and mom in different areas. We have it under the name tag dad. We also have it under the come button because that's about all and family. And so we have that as well. But if I were to be training a student that I'm working with, especially a young student, to give them one way to get to it, I might want to get rid of that family one and just use the name tag, or vice versa, it doesn't matter. But I have that capability to just get rid of that by just clicking on the X here in any of that, and it would just go away. Okay, so that's really nice about Vocabulary Builder now that I have that capability. So I have all of those available to me. I have more, one, stomp, go, etc. I also have different types of lists. So if I clicked on Manage Lists, and I have my list of the different types of Vocabulary Builder lists that I've made up previously. They're on here. I basically only have my one, but I also have default lists that I can look at. And so just like in Vocabulary Builder before, we have pre-populated 25 first words, 50 first words, and then we also have quite a number of activities like arts and cars and cooking. But we also have categories like animals, body parts, and characters or clothing, feelings, places, playground, vehicles, and then we also have our LAMP Words for Life transition piece as well. So we have sort of a transition list for LAMP Words for Life. Great. So I'm just going to finish that. So when I'm in Vocabulary Builder, I can also just do a quick add if I really wanted to by just going to, let's say I wanted to add the word play. So if I'm in my Vocabulary Builder, all I have to do is just click on play and click play, and that will add to my list. I can go back and I can do it, or I can do also a quick add, and I could do the type of words to show or separate by column. So I can actually add plays here in addition to play. So if I said plays and click finish, and it'll add my plays as well. So if I click on play, I pressed on play before, and now it also added play here. Again, so this is in Vocabulary Builder. If you wanted to access it again, you can see that you can change your list. You can turn it on or off just with a click of a button here up at the top left-hand corner. And that would be on or off. I like the way that Vocabulary Builder has give you more ways in Empower to gain access to your vocabulary. So like I said, if once you had this up and you knew that you wanted to add the word live, we can click on the word live, and then we can also add live here, or live, or to live, and we just click on the button here instead of typing it all in, or alive here as well, and then maybe a house as well. And then I just can go back, and so it knows that that's really what I wanted to do with Vocabulary Builder. And so if I exit, I'll just show you again. I can do live, and I have live, to live, alive, and house that I pressed just on the buttons. So really nice way, really nice information to give to people to start using Vocabulary Builder rather simply and easily and very effectively. Okay. I think that is all I wanted to show for, go back to Vocabulary Builder, sorry. I'm going to turn that off. Okay, so that's that. So let me go back to my, I want to share my PowerPoint again. All right, so there's the, we talked about the new toolbox. And we talked about the editor. And so the editor again is in the menu, and then you click on Vocabulary Editor. And then this is what it looks like here. So you'll have your page settings, your vocab, and then we talked about Vocabulary Builder. And then there was 2 ways to create a list. We can type a list or touch the pathway to the words. Here's our menu again for getting into Vocabulary Builder, and then you would click on Vocabulary Builder, and then it's basically, you know, that simple. So these are what a few of our customers, our beta customers, have tried Empower, and they basically have said that it's really easy, user-friendly, innovative, actually intuitive as well. Seem to be streamlined, flexible, cleaner, and that's exactly what we wanted for a new operating system for our Unity software and for our LAMP Words for Life software. So Empower is a new version of here's a pop quiz, I'm sorry. Empower is a new version of New Voice. Yes or no? And that should be a yes. So you hopefully see the green check button bounce. Name the 3 language systems currently available in Empower. And for those of you who remember, it's Unity, all of Unity from 4 to 84 locations. We also have LAMP Words for Life, and then we also have LAMP Words for Life VI version. So those are the 3 language systems that are currently available in Empower. And then Empower supports touch, head tracking, eye tracking, and scanning. Is that true? Yes, of course it's true. So Empower will do all 4 of our access methods to our Accent devices, our Accent 800. Well, Accent 800 does not support head tracking or eye gaze, but it will support touch and scanning, as well as keyboards. So hopefully you are now ready to Empower. We talked about look, and this is actual picture of look that I demonstrated. It's lighter and smaller. It's equal or enhanced quality tracking. I actually think it's just a little bit better than our new eye. I kind of like the feel of it. There's instantaneous gaze recovery. What that means is that it's a higher powered device that actually talks much quicker to the from the eye gaze to the computer. There's a lower power consumption. Our new eye tended to draw a lot of power, so you'll find that you'll have more battery life at the end of the day with our new look system. And we kept, like I showed you in the toolbox, is that we kept all of the adjustments of smoothing and cursor feedback and calibration, etc. We did that demonstration. We saw the calibration completed. Now let's look at some online resources. And the first one that I want to look at is the AAC Language Lab. And if you haven't seen our AAC Language Lab, I really encourage you to look at the Language Lab. And let me do a new share here, and I'm going to go to our, sorry, give me a second here. And I'm going to share with you our, this is our home screen, our PrintROM home screen. And if you ever notice this little button here on the upper right-hand corner, if you click on that, what happens is it kind of unfolds our other sister sites that we have available from printrom.com. So we have our, our PRC home page, which is what you are on now. We have our Satillo sister site. We have our AAC Language Lab. We have our Center for AAC and Autism. We have our AAC apps. We have Touch Chat. We have our Realize Language, and we also have our Explore AAC. So to get to any of these websites, you can basically just click on that little tab here and you can get to them. So the first one we talk about is the AAC Language Lab. And this Language Lab, it has a lot of free resources, but you can also subscribe to the website. And it's a year subscription for $19.95, I think. And what it does is that you have access to a whole bunch of different types of information and resources that are here, starting from lessons and activities to lesson plans, different types of activities. And here's a brief, quick look at different types of lesson plans that we have. This is more about our stages of language development. And if you just want to click the free samples, you can do that as well. And then you'll see use of single words, direct actions, in language stage 1. And then you can go into different types of ways of using single words. If I teach my dog 8 words, this is free. Balloons, play ball at the fair. You can also filter it in Spanish, young adults, mobile, or UK. You can also target vocabulary. So if you wanted to target, let's say, dog, I do a search, and well, of course, I'm only on the free version, so it's not going to come up with much, but sorry about that. But you can also do some keywords, etc. Let's say we wanted to do keywords of, let's say, light. No? How about play? Let's see. What do they do? So here's some direct actions for what do they do around the lesson plan. And then you can download this lesson plan. And again, this is free. You can print the lesson plan. But what do they do is a flip book of speaking. So model and prompt the action words on the device. So as you can see, it's just really wonderful, really well thought out, different types of lesson plans that you can have from aaclanguagelab.com. We also have different types of curriculums that are here and other resources. And we also have a blog. And usually the blog is either a parent or a person who has who uses AAC as well. So a lot of the blogging is from their perspective, and it's really, really fun to look at. So that's AAC Language Lab. Then we also have Realize Language, and Realize Language, I think I alluded to earlier, was the online service that helps you to gain access to what your student or child is using during the day, and it's a data logging tool. So what you can do is you can collect your data on your AAC device, upload your data to the Realize Language website, and then you can create easy-to-use reports and analysis. So you can kind of track everything that you, all the progress that you have over time. You can compare different aspects of communication. You can also create a detailed dashboard summary of performance. So if your child or the student is using it in class, you can see what, the number of verbs they use, the number of nouns they use, when did they use that, etc. So again, it's really a wonderful tool to have for data capturing. The second to last one that I want to talk about is the Center for AAC and Autism. And if you don't know this is sort of like our LAMP organization. And so LAMP, again, is the Language Acquisition Motor Plan, but it puts out Words for Life specifically. We do have LAMP, Language Acquisition Motor Plan is really all around Unity. But in addition, LAMP is Words for Life is specifically with an 84 location. So if you don't know about LAMP, you can find out more information about LAMP and AAC and autism.com. And then finally, one more resource I want to let you know about is this exploreaac.com site. It's a great site if you want to share with parents. Parents are those who are new to AAC. So basically you can get started, with an interaction of what is AAC, how everyone communicates, and really who uses, AAC. And it kind of gives you sort of a whole path of where AAC is, and it's all done in a very user-friendly way for parents and or those who are new to AAC. There's also some really great research that has been here, some myths and legends about AAC, and also some case stories, case studies about who uses AAC and why. So again, another really great free resource is exploreaac.com. All right. So let me stop this sharing for a second, and I'm going to go back to our PowerPoint. Okay, so, sorry. Where are we here? We're going to go to here. And so that was AAC and autism, and then explore AAC, again, user-friendly language. And so if you need any additional help from Prentke Romich, you can always go to Prentrom, PRENTROM.com, where we have regional consultants. Like I'm a regional consultant for Central and Eastern Pennsylvania and Central and Southern New Jersey. We can give demonstrations, we do client consultations, we can do equipment loans, we can do online and in-person trainings, again, provide general support. This is my information, contact information. So if you have any other follow-up questions, comments, I'd be happy to hear from you. And hope this webinar was what you expected. And if you have any other questions or comments, let's share them now.
Thanks, Kirk. In the question and answer box, there was a question from Alicia that says, is anything on exploreaac.com in Spanish or other languages?
Not at the moment, but I know that they're going to be developing at least in Spanish. If hopefully, if our consultants had anyway, we would love to see it in other languages as well. But right now it is only in English, and but I will take that information back to say that we really need to get the Spanish version up there, especially in Explore AAC.
Lynn asks if are key guards covered under insurance funding?
Yes, many of the key guards that I've seen through insurance have been funded. I have actually even seen 2 and 3 location key guards being funded because in the report, they already anticipated that this child would be going from a 28 location to a 36 to a 45 location probably in a year or two. But as long as you can justify it, it's all about your report, your SLP report, and ensure that within not only in the report that there's justification for the key guards, but also make sure that the doctor's prescription also has it on the prescription itself, the number of key guards or touch guides, and the number and locations as well. Any other questions?
Well, if our participants don't have any other questions, they can always email you at a later time.
Absolutely.
And on behalf of Patton, I'd like to thank you, Kirk, for joining us today for our first AAC Talks web conference and sharing this valuable information and the resources that you demonstrated and walked us through with all of our attendees. Thank you for your participation today. Before I provide you with the code, I'd like to remind you that the session verification survey will be available on the conference webpage at 3 p.m. today, where you will enter your codes for Act 48 or certificates of attendance. The survey must be completed by this Friday, May 17th at 4 p.m. The code for this session is 5908. Once again, thank you all for your interest and attention today. We will end the webinar now. You can find the links to log into the next session after our lunch break on the conference webpage.